and see what this thing does 0 to 60. We'll brake torque it a little bit, full on the brake, full on the gas, drop the brake, and my goodness, we are off. Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and this is a 2024 Mazda 3 sedan. The last vehicle for us to have for a full week here on the channel. And this $30,000 example is punching well above its weight. And I would absolutely have this over the last $44,000 Audi A3 we had here on the channel. What do I mean by all of that? And what injustices have been corrected with the loan of this vehicle? All that and more. Stay tuned. Yes, gearheads, I am incredibly grateful for Mazda for filling out their full lineup with us here on the channel by bringing us this Mazda 3. We have now sampled not every trim, but every vehicle that Mazda produces, from this Mazda 3, the CX-30, CX-5, CX-50, CX-70, CX-90, and MX-5 Miata. We've seen them all, and most of them have used this very familiar Skyactiv-G turbocharged 4-cylinder. It is a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, mated to their 6-speed automatic transmission, but putting power down to all 4 wheels, which we will test out here in just a moment when I hop behind the wheel. I've even got something a little bit special for you when we are in the vehicle too. This is perhaps the smallest and lightest vehicle to use this powertrain, so I'm very excited to test it out and put it through its paces. We do have a 0 to 60 timer, and we will see just how quick this vehicle is. But I did mention an injustice being corrected with the loan of this vehicle, and that injustice is I have finally gotten to spend a week with Mazda's Soul Red Crystal paint. We've had 2 MX-5 Miatas, and neither one has been in this glorious red paint. I do believe this is perhaps the best red paint on the market, only rivaled by the Radiant Red tint coat from General Motors now, which we are also sampling at this point in time, and it is a big toss-up between the two, but I think Soul Red Crystal absolutely edges it out. This being a Mazda 3, it wears a lot of familiar brand styling. We get chrome accents around the very happy face grille. We get all LED lights up front, including adaptive headlights. You can see there is a little bit of light shining through the bottom corners down there because we do have aerodynamic pass-throughs to go around the front of the vehicle and allow air out of the wheel wells. Speaking of the wheels, we get these black wheels wrapped in Bridgestone tires. They are a nice performance tire. They're Turanza tires. They are not my favorite. This vehicle could benefit from some Pilot Sport tires, I'm sure, just because of the overall fun, sporty nature of this vehicle and just how powerful that engine is. But this being the Sport Premium, we do have the black wheels, which contrast very nicely to our Soul Red Crystal paint. And I am actually looking for, oh, here we are, 215/45 R18 is the measurement on those tires. As we pull around to the side, you can truly appreciate the black contrasting against the Soul Red Crystal. It looks very good. This, of course, is the sedan version of the hatch we've already tested here on the channel. We've tested a pearl white hatch and a Soul Red Crystal, but that was at an event. We didn't get to live with it for a week. This is also the smaller sedan version of the CX-30 crossover, and this is the only sedan Mazda makes. This could be considered a competitor to a Nissan Sentra, but as I said in the intro, I think this is really punching and fighting above its weight. And this really is fighting against the Audi A3s of the world. It is a much nicer experience on the inside and on the outside. My brother has had one of these for over a decade. This is definitely classed up over his older Mazda 3 for sure. You can see we get some sporty styling back here in the back, LED lighting as well back in the back, dual exhausts, all-wheel drive badge, turbo badging, and then we get a hidden hatch release here with a manually opening deck lid, but plenty of cargo space back here. Very great design, just how square and boxy it is, which will allow you to load stuff in. You can put more stuff in by folding down the 60-40 split pinch rear seat, and just be careful where you put your stuff because the hinges do impede on trunk space. But one of the most favorite things I see back here on the trunk, and shows that Mazda is just classing it up just a little bit, is a small attention to detail with that handle right there. I don't have to touch the paint or a dirty back of the vehicle to go about closing the trunk. Before we move inside, I did want to show you the key, typical Mazda key. All the buttons are here on the side. We have lock, unlock, trunk release, panic button. It is a proximity key. You can keep it in your pocket, your purse, wherever you keep your keys. And we have a passive entry. I have it on good authority that you have to have the app to have remote start. We don't get access to the app for our press reviews, but as I mentioned, it is a passive entry. You unlock it there, you lock it by pushing there, and that is only on the front two doors. But it is a smaller vehicle, so it's not like it's a long trek to the back doors. But yes, if you want to unlock it, you got to start up front. The interior is absolutely where this thing is punching above its weight class. In addition to its sporty driving characteristics, you can see we've got nice cream accents in here. It's not just an all black interior, and very nice heated seats up front here, very supportive, very comfortable, multi-way positional, two-person memory. We're going to go ahead and climb in here, show you typical Mazda steering wheel, typical Mazda gauges, typical Mazda infotainment, typical, not a lot of new cutting edge stuff in here. Mazda is a boutique independent company. They are doing as much part sharing as they can. That's not a bad thing. I've found Mazdas to be rather nice and inviting. I like the driver-centric cockpit here with the vents right behind the steering wheel, which is nice. All of my controls here for radio, ADAS, and the like. We do have a head-up display with traffic sign recognition. That is a wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto 10.25-inch screen right there. It is touch sensitive when you're in Apple CarPlay, but Mazda really does like you to use the command knob to cycle through everything there. You also have your volume knob down here, 6-speed automatic, which some say is a little bit outdated and archaic, but you can put it over in manual mode. When you put it in reverse, you trigger the 360 cameras, which are really nice. You can also trigger those cameras with a button right there. Makes it very easy to see all around you, so that is nice. Dual zone automatic climate, heated front seats, not ventilated. That is a slight miss for me, competing against things like that Audi I mentioned. Qi wireless charger that barely works, 2 cup holders that are a little far away, but very quick access here. Auto hold button, electronic parking brake. Sport mode is your only additional driving mode. And then a center console that slides and opens, 2 USB-C ports hidden in there. A little bit of storage in the glove box. We have a standard sunroof here that doesn't cut into my headroom too much. It's really nice. We get all of our indicator lights for seat belts right here. We get some sunglass storage right there. But let's check out what it's like sitting behind myself before we get out and drive this thing, because that's what you really came here for, was a driving review, right? As we look in the back seat, yes, it is a more tight, compact space than some of their other larger vehicles, but I like the material usage back here continues from the front. We'll go ahead and sit behind myself. At 5'10", you can see still plenty of room, especially with the cutouts on the back of the seat. It's, again, not their roomiest vehicle, but it's not too bad. My hat is touching the ceiling, but my head is not. But yes, we are flirting with not enough headspace back here, but there is a nice cutout. Since we don't have a big panoramic roof, there is more room back here for my head. Only map pocket on the back of the passenger seat, not on the driver. No air vents on the back of the center console, but this vehicle is small enough and the AC does work well enough that I can still feel cool air sitting back here. We also get a fold down center armrest with 2 cup holders, which I really like. If you want to see me putting in Tiger's child safety seat, hit that subscribe button and follow along. But otherwise, let's hop behind the wheel and see how this thing performs. Setting off in the Mazda 3 all-wheel drive. It's a very easy vehicle to hop in and just drive around. There's not a lot of vehicle around you, so it's very nice and comfortable. You might have noticed an additional accessory here on the windshield. That is my Racebox 0 to 60 timer, because we're gonna throw this thing into sport mode, come to a full stop, and see what this thing does 0 to 60. We'll brake torque it a little bit, full on the brake, full on the gas, drop the brake, and my goodness, we are off to the races. And unofficially 6.23 seconds 0 to 60 without warm tires, without a prepped surface. I'd say that's pretty good for this peppy little vehicle. We'll probably get to testing that again at the end, because a lot of what I want to talk about this is its driving nature and characteristics. I mentioned in the intro how I would 100% buy this over the last Audi A3 that we tested, which stickered for $44,000 2 model years ago. And this is a brand that traditionally, especially in my lifetime, has not been regarded in the same light as Audi. Audi has kind of worked their way up through the late 80s and 90s, but I think they are a little on the overrated side as of late with the vehicles that we've tested as of late, where Mazda is absolutely underrated at where they stand. They have put a lot of work in bringing their model line, bringing their dealership experience very far upscale. I have heard from a lot of my peers and friends in the industry, and now I can't unhear it, that Mazda really is like the Volvo of Japan. Well, Volvo is not an independent brand. It is owned by a bigger company. Mazda, however, is an independent company with some strong partnerships to Toyota, but for the most part, they do stand on their own. And so the fact that they are able to pump out vehicles of this quality while still being independent and playing against much larger players in the industry says a lot to the team at Mazda, their core, their ethos, their driving nature. I'm very, very pleased with every Mazda that we've sampled here on the channel. And now even getting this one out onto this highly textured pavement in what is one of their most affordable vehicles, I'm not being bombarded with road noise. There have been some Toyotas that I have brought down this road that make so much more noise on the inside than this one. So you aren't paying a huge penalty with refinement and NVH, as it's known in the industry, when you step down to the smallest Mazda vehicle outside of the MX-5, their smallest passenger vehicle. You still get a lot of niceties here in this one, which you should at a $37,000 price point, no matter what brand we're talking about, but especially in a brand that is aspiring to move upscale. Their entire dealer network has been reworked, refocused, and just in the past decade, the brand has really done an about face as far as who they are, what they stand for, and who they're going after. Like I said, I really do believe Mazda is an underrated brand, where Audi is a little more overrated. You really get a lot here, and they have a bigger dealer network in places like Tyler, Texas. Here, we don't have an Audi dealership. I would have to drive hours to get my Audi serviced at an Audi dealership, but we have a rather good Mazda dealership here in town. There's another one in our sister city of Longview, Texas. So there is plenty of access to dealers. And again, they have really moved that experience upscale as well. No longer are you in the Nissan level of service and product. You really are moving upscale. And that's absolutely what I see here in the driving characteristic of this one. If you can't tell, I'm having a lot of fun. I am on my favorite driving road around the lake here in East Texas, and this thing is an absolute blast. Is it perfect? No, but it is a lot of fun, and it's a lot of fun in an affordable-ish, luxury-ish vehicle that can carry my whole family. And speaking of which, if you want to see my whole family's thoughts on this, you will absolutely want to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you are notified when that review drops later on this week. Because yes, I do bring my family along in every vehicle that I can for timing and space purposes. Obviously, Tucker did not fit in that MX-5 Miata, but my goodness, yes, this is an absolutely fun vehicle to throw around these windy roads around the lake. I am thoroughly enjoying everything about this car. It puts a smile on my face. I enjoyed driving that Audi too. We were taking it out to my in-laws a lot because we were displaced for lack of working AC at home during the heat of summer. And there were a lot of fun roads to take that one on back there. But yes, if I'm spending my hard-earned money, I'm buying the Mazda, not the Audi. Now, we are coming back to a straight stretch of road. The tires have had a chance to warm up. We will reset our 0 to 60 race box timer, which you could get for yourself. We'll put all the information and links down in the description below. But again, all-wheel drive, sure-footedness, turbocharged power, full on the brake, full on the accelerator. Rev that engine up and drop the brake. My goodness. Yes, there is some wheel slippage. This would benefit from stickier, more performance and oriented tires, but 6.4, so decreased a little bit. We were also going uphill slightly on that run, but just under 6.5 seconds, 0 to 60, which is plenty of fun. I remember when muscle cars were only a second faster than that. So this really is a fun little performance vehicle for a relative bargain. Again, if you want to see family reviews, other video reviews, hit subscribe, ring the bell, follow along. Find us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. But as for me, until next time, gearheads, bye. So I did just wrap filming and tried a few more 0 to 60 runs on our race box and got 6.2 and 6.01. So depending on the road situation and how good your launch is, I think you can get mid to low sixes in this without any problem. And again, need to be running that premium fuel. And go! Not as good. Yep, that was definitely slower going uphill.